Gentleman yields back. Chair recognizes Mr. Mfume for 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr.
Yes, sir. We are inviting the mayor to the next meeting. We felt like the mayor needed to have her own, just be the own witness and not on a panel with multiple other people. This is phase one of our hearings, first hearing.
Thank you very much. It's kind of ominous. It just got dark in here, but let's try, if we can, to shine some light on a couple of facts. First, to my distinguished colleague from South Carolina who's just exited the room, he's a little off on his history. That 1993 vote that he talked about did in fact occur. It's just that he did not know that there was a vote 18 months ago that also occurred, in which the House of Representatives passed the D.C. statehood bill. So let's make sure it's history and not his story. Second thing, it's very important here that when we have these discussions, we really get to the crux of why we are here, what continues to bring us back. And Ranking Member Raskin is correct, and the distinguished woman from the District of Columbia correct. It gets back to statehood and the absence of the ability of men and women to determine their future. Let's not forget what happened in December of 1773, when American colonists dumped over 300 barrels of tea into the Boston Harbor because they were upset that they were being taxed but had absolutely no say in the running of things, no say in their government whatsoever. So fast forward to where we are today, and when we bring these issues up, in this case related to police and policing, which I really want to speak to, all of a sudden we're accused of having some kind of strange agenda. This will continue to happen as long as people are denied the right to be able to represent themselves when they pay taxes, when they serve in the military, and when they are told they can't have voting representation in the Congress of the United States. So this is not about all cops are bad or all cops are good. This is about policing, and I want to go back to a couple of former police chiefs so that we can get on the record what they said. And for the record, I and many members of this committee have worked to establish bills and processes that empower the ability of law enforcement to do their job, whether it is trying to deal with protectors of survivors or victims. I've got a Victim Assistance Act that has been endorsed by the FOP that provides money to protect people who want to come forward in criminal cases. So let's not get this twisted. This is not about bad cops. And by the way, nobody hates a bad cop more than a good cop. So let's put that on the record also. But when there are bad police, they bring down the entire department. Case in point. The police department has been forced to rehire significant numbers of officers that it fired for misconduct, primarily because of decisions of arbitrators. Every police chief for the last 25 years has lamented the fact that they have been forced to rehire officers for serious misconduct, making it bad for good police officers to do their job. Former D.C. Police Chief Peter Newsham said he had to allow, quote, very bad police officers back into the department. Former Police Chief Charles Ramsey said, quote, it is demoralizing to the rank and file who really don't have a say because it takes a tremendous amount of anxiety and places it on the department. And he said our credibility is shot whenever these things happen. Current D.C. police, Mr. Conte, said eliminating arbitration would, quote, help reduce the risk of returning poor performers, bad police, back to the force. So, I don't know how much time I have, Mr. Chairman, but just a couple of quick things for the record. One officer in the past struck a suspect multiple times in the head. The officer was convicted of assault and sentenced to 30 days in jail and 3 years of probation, and then reinstated and given back pay of $679,000. Point two, an off-duty police officer sexually assaulted a person and was convicted. That officer was sentenced to 100 days, suspended sentence, 1 year probation, reinstated, and then given a back pay of over $500,000. I could go on and on and on. The issue here all goes back to the fact that when you can't determine your own destiny, even though you pay taxes, when you have no say in your city, these sort of things crop up, and then the side issues, like good cop versus bad cop, tend to take over the discussion and the argument. The citizens of Washington need representation, and the D.C. statehood bill, again, for the record, passed in 2021. I was there in '93. I saw what happened in 2021. So when we play around with history, let's make sure it's history and not his story.